Before the UFC in the US, MMA was formed as a different sport in Russia. This martial art was called SAMBO.
He called the system samozащита, or SAMOS.
And its techniques gained popularity because of Fedor Emelianenko and cemented its place in MMA. Thanks to Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Most in UFC history.
Because of its similarity with BJJ, there has been some subtle rivalry between experts in each art who have been going at it for a very long time. Khabib said this about BJJ.
Jiu-jitsu have very big problem is no good takedown, but underground is perfect. And if you wanna be beginning jiu-jitsu, you need takedown guys. In sambo, very good takedown skills. You know, if you have mix combat sambo plus wrestling, this is unstoppable.
And Craig Jones with his never-ending banter and had this to say about sambo.
I don't think he has good submissions. You know what I mean? Like, it's a wrestling culture, and they obviously have some submissions in sambo and stuff, but sambo is pretty bad as a grappling art.
Now, who is right or wrong? Or are they just sentimentally attached to the sport they love and train most of their lives in? If you follow this channel for a long time, you'll have more than an idea of what BJJ is. So I'm not going to bother you with the theatrics of what BJJ is, but rather its rival, the Russian Sambo. The word Sambo is a Russian acronym for self-defense without a weapon. It is a blend of judo and wrestling, but with its own special flavor. Initially designed for the military, today it shines as a sport and a significant presence in MMA. Sambo's moves are explosive, featuring powerful hip throws, intricate leg locks, and swift wrestling shots. When Sambo fighters step onto the mat, they gear up with protective headgear and unique mat shoes. They're no strangers to some serious strength training. All these intricacies of Sambo laid in the palms of three pioneers: Vasily Oshchepkov, Viktor Spiridonov, and Anatoly Kharlampiv. Vasily was the first Russian to earn a black belt from Jigoro Kano, the judo founder. Oshchepkov later taught judo to the Soviet army. Viktor Spiridonov, a World War I veteran, brought his expertise in wrestling and Japanese jiu-jitsu into the mix. An arm injury from his war days led him to focus on a fighting style that emphasized movement over sheer strength. This approach was called Samoa. Spiridonov's softer style and Oshchepkov's rigorous technique eventually merged, giving birth to Sambo. Anatoly Kharlampiv was a student of Viktor Spiridonov, but was often called the father of Sambo because of his vital role in making Sambo the official combat sport of the USSR in 1938, and Sambo gaining recognition from the USSR All-Union Sports Committee. This has divided Sambo into two major categories: sports Sambo and combat Sambo. Combat Sambo was initially created for the Russian military. It mirrors the intensity of MMA. In combat Sambo, fighters have the freedom to use a wide range of techniques, from punches, elbows, and kicks to even the most painful groin strikes and headbutts. Winning is the only goal. And this no-holds-barred approach sets it apart from other martial arts. Sports Sambo, a cousin to wrestling and judo, focuses on ground fighting, throws, and submissions. Unlike its combat-oriented counterparts, Sports Sambo doesn't allow chokeholds, unlike BJJ. Another difference between both martial arts is the approach to leg locks. Sambo and BJJ share a common love for submissions targeting the legs, but the emphasis placed on them is where the paths diverge. Leg locks are used very well in Sambo, but in BJJ, they are reserved for only the most advanced practitioners. However, in the past years, new grapplers are starting to incorporate the leg lock game in earlier stages. A concept that BJJ and Sambo do not see eye to eye with is the guard position. BJJ fighters master the guard to survive, to stall, and to bide their time for the perfect moment to reverse the position or look for a submission on their back. Sambo, however, dances at a different tune. The guard position is frowned upon because of its defensive approach. The ultimate goal of Sambo is to always be on the attack, even when the guard position presents itself. It's merely a launching pad to set up sweeps and submissions for offense. Another aspect where Sambo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu part ways in is in takedowns. Sambo has a strong wrestling background, and it showcases its pedigree with pride. Sambo fighters place a great emphasis on takedowns, using throws and sweeps as their preferred mode of transportation to the ground. While on the ground, a Sambist seeks to control the legs and hands of the opponent, making them carry their weight and suffocating them with relentless top pressure.
A lot of those combat Sambo guys were, they're really good at controlling people from the top position. Khabib's done that too, you just don't see it as much. Like when he submitted Justin Gaethje, he submitted him with a mounted triangle. Then he finished him off of his back and put him to sleep. Like he can do all those other things too.
That was his last match.
But it was as good as you'll ever see like an elite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt do it. So he can do that too. He can submit you off his back too.
But the true test of a martial art is when it's placed side by side in a fight. And that's what Khabib did.
He gets behind you underneath these arms and he can just stay here and then just make you carry his weight so you got nothing in you after.
Couple hooks in.
When I think about Khabib Nurmagomedov, I see all the detail that of his work, especially when he's got his opponent against the fence. That's his area of expertise where to me, he's the best that ever did it.
Just as BJJ gained limelight through the UFC, Sambo did the same. Khabib's mastery of Sambo-based ground game propelled him to greatness.
There's so much punishment on you.
This man is now 12-0 in the UFC.
Conor was unable to stay on his feet, and on the ground, Khabib was in a class of his own.
This triumph is not an isolated incident. Many fighters from the Dagestani region have carried the torch of Sambo into the world of MMA. The transition from combat Sambo to MMA is mostly seamless, since most of the major concepts of combat Sambo are infused into MMA. Another feather in the cap of combat Sambo athletes is their ability to blend techniques seamlessly. It's not just about a string of submissions. It's the art of connecting strikes to takedowns and takedowns to submissions. In MMA, these skills are often compartmentalized, but in reality, when they are intertwined, they become incredibly effective.
Throw. That was a mauling.
In a no-holds-barred, anything-goes brawl, combat Sambo takes the lead because of its versatility. It's this adaptability that gives Sambo the upper hand, especially when striking enters the equation. BJJ's primary focus on ground combat may leave it vulnerable in an environment where anything can happen. When the battle turns to pure grappling, BJJ shines better. However, the outcome isn't one-size-fits-all. It depends on the rules in play.
He has to do is fight those hands, but he got extended. It's over.
Sambo holds its ground well with its powerful throws and slams, but BJJ's ground game is where it truly shines. For pure grappling contests following BJJ rules, BJJ has the upper hand. Its practitioners possess a profound understanding of control, submission, and positional dominance. In a controlled, rule-bound setting like the ADCC and one-submission grappling, BJJ athletes have consistently demonstrated their mastery of the intricate ground game. BJJ and Sambo each have their own unique strengths, tailored for specific scenarios. There's no definitive winner in this showdown. Instead, it's about appreciating the beauty of martial arts, each offering a unique set of tools for combat and self-expression. The best martial art is the one that suits the individual's goals and the specific context. So, what's your preference? Share them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.